Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to Crafty Chemist. Today we're going to make a scrapbook layout using the Waterside Retreat Suite by Stampin Up. Let me take a minute to share this to the group. While I'm doing that, please say hello and let me know that you're here. What is the weather like by where you are? Okay, I shared to the group. I'm going to move this down just a little bit. I can't really see who's joining. If you hop on, say hello so I know you're here. Okay, I just tagged everyone. And I tagged Vicky so she knows I'm going to do some seagull pages. Okay, I think I've done all the things. Hi, Julie. Okay, I think I've done all the things. What's the weather like there in Minnesota? It was fairly nice today. It rained this morning, but then it got nice. So today we are going to be making this scrapbook layout. I did make a quick blog post with some sketches for people if they want to craft along. Let me drop a link there. We'll give you a few minutes if you need to gather some supplies. Really, this is mostly pictures. There's only a little bit of designer series paper, so you could do it with, I think you could fit one sheet, do it with one sheet of designer series paper if you want like the front and the back. And then obviously you need cardstock for the base. That's good, it was warmer, that's nice. So today we are going to do another project with the Waterside Retreat. And I want to focus on scrapbooking this time. Let's see what paper I have left. So remember, this paper has got some nice, a nice page that has these scenes, I guess you would call them, little scenes that make really good card fronts. I was thinking about potentially using this on my page, I'm not sure. And then the back is this fun stripe, which I don't know, I was thinking maybe I should use, but it is a lot of blue because I'm sitting on a chair in my pictures. I'm sitting on a chair that has blue stripes. So there is the wood. I love the wood. To me, you know, any good wood paper is very usable. And then the back are these buoys and some life preservers. I did use some of the life preservers in this layout. I just fussy cut them. This is the paper I'm thinking about focusing on today because I do have some seagulls in my pictures, so I might use this. And then the back of this is really fun. This might be a good color. I don't know. I love this paper. It's waves like, but it's kind of stylized, you know? And then the back is fish. So this might be good for a Father's Day layout or something. Hi, Diana. Hi, Mom. I thought about using this paper. I tried to find pictures of the kids riding their bikes, and this page uses a lot of pictures, and I just didn't have quite enough for that. But the back is some more seagulls. So nice. Let's see, how many papers are that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's one more. Okay, it's this one with the, I want to say life preservers, but I call those life preservers. The life vests. Let's call these life vests and oars, which I did use here. Fussy cut those out. And then the back is this striped with the pool party and the old olive. So these are the papers. Really a fun design. And, you know, truthfully, I wasn't feeling this paper. I wasn't going to get it until I saw the seagull paper. And then I knew I had to get it. And then I've been loving it ever since. So let me show you what we're going to do. Let me show you quick. Truthfully, I think that the pictures that I picked are a little bit hard to tell what's going on. And I'll show you why here in a second. I'm not sure if you hopped on late, if you can go back and see the link to the blog. I'll post it again just in case. So if you want to make a layout like this, you can. So here's what's fun about it is these angled photos here on the side. You can see there's 4 photos here, although I only did 3 and then I wanted to use the chair and the seagull. So I just did 3, but there's 4 here and then 2 here. But you see how they're angle cut? I thought that was really cool. But this one, I didn't think about it, but this one has this bar here on the canoe because they're in the canoe. So it almost looks like that's a picture. You know, that's a picture and then this is a picture, but this is actually one whole picture. But I love these pictures of the kids at Lost Lake. You could see Mount Hood in the background. They're in their canoe. So cute. So this page can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pictures. If you do it, well, if you do it how I have it, except you put a picture here, 10 if you don't put a picture there. So it really can take a lot of pictures, and that's without flip flaps or anything. So I will show you and give you some hints about your pictures and cutting these, because it took me a little while to, get pictures that I liked that fit here. So for the photos, you need 5 4x4s, 1 3x4. This one up here at the top is a 3x4. 2 3x3.5. You probably could make those 4x4s if you, well, if you did 4x4, it would be right up against the edge, but you could probably make them a little bit bigger. And then 2 3x5.5. And then 1 big 8x10. Okay? And it really doesn't require a lot of designer series paper. Like I said, I think you could get away with just 1 sheet if you use the front and the back. It depends on, you might not be able to just 1 sheet because of this piece. It just depends on the orientation of the paper. But the point is you can get away with very little paper. Okay, so let's get started. I do have some cutting guides for you. So this first piece of designer series paper is the gray one, and so that's going to be, if you see here, where the title is, and then behind here. So this piece and this piece, these 2 pieces is the first designer series paper. Okay. And this is where I was wanting to use the seagull paper, because I want seagulls here and I think down there. So let me cut this. So I'm going to cut it at 8 inches. And then at 2 and 5, and then 5.5. Okay, here's my 2 and 5.5. Okay, and then the next designer series paper, I'm going to cut at 6.5 inches down. And here I used it for this piece and this piece. It was the wood on my layout. So this piece and this piece, this piece and this piece. I have the wood going up and down in those. Let's see if I have enough to do that. Yeah, so 6.5. Hopefully I have 6.5. I do. Yay! Okay, and then cut it at 4. And then this will be 8. And now the next things you need to cut are the mats. And here are the mats. You need 2 that are 3.5 by 6 and 2 that are 3.5 by 4. And this page is white, but it's the black pieces behind the photos. I just didn't want to make that paper black. I wouldn't have printed very well. Okay. I'm actually going to wait because I want to see how the colors look. I was going to do Cajun Craze, so we'll see if that's going to look good. So you guys ready? Okay, I've got two. Let's start with this first page. We'll do the left-hand side. So I'm just using a white, this is white willow, because really you don't see any of it. You see a little bit in between the pieces maybe, but okay, let me find my pictures. Okay, here's my pictures. You know, I've been talking about our Brighton day when we saw all of the seagulls, so I thought this is a perfect time. Okay, so I think I was gonna do Vicky, and then the Crazy Mouse on this page. I've got some backups just in case. I had trouble printing 8 by 10, so this is like just a waste piece. Okay, so let's do the first piece. This piece is here. Okay, this is the one that was 4 by 6.5. Let's put that down. So a piece that's 4 by 6.5. And we are going to decorate this, so if you're going to put die cuts and things on here, you might want it to be a nice kind of neutral background. And then this picture is going to go here. This picture is 8 by 10. If you don't want to put an 8 by 10 picture, you could put a piece of 8 by 10 cardstock or something, and then you can add similar type pictures like I did on the other page. I'll show you. Let's get this lined up. It should line up perfectly. Okay. So if you didn't want to do an 8 by 10, this is 8 by 10 basically, so you could have done something like this if you wanted to. Over here. And now we need to put this little strip down here. This is the piece that was 2 by 8. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's talk about the pictures. So these are the pictures that I'm going to use, and you're going to start with a 4x4 square, okay? So this picture was a 4x4 square, but this side I cut from the top right corner to 1 inches on the left side, and then the bottom right corner to 3 inches on the left side, okay? So let's take, for instance, this picture. If I cut it the 4 inches, right, it'll be 4 inches here. And then I'm going to go from here to about here. So we got to think about where that's going. We don't want it to cut right through Vicky's face, right? So that should be okay. And then from here to about here. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. So that's why not every single picture is going to work. And I did, on some of these, I moved them around. You know, if the, for instance, in this picture, Anthony was on the right side, which was great because the bigger part of the angle was on the right side. And on this one, Peyton is a little bit more to the left side. So I made sure that it was in one of these angle things where it's, you know, bigger on the left side than on the right side. I hope that makes sense, okay? Okay, so this is my 4x4 picture. And then what I did is, I don't know the best way to show you this, is I measured on the left side of this one down one inch. So I made a little like kind of a tick mark there. And then on this side, I went up 1 inch. Okay, so it's down 1 inch and up 1 inch. And then I just went from that mark to the line, to the corner. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Now this one, we're gonna go from here to this mark. Got to make sure you see the mark on there. So it's right there. Okay. Okay. I'm happy with that. Okay, so there's the first piece. Now you see how she is centered on the right side of the photo, which is where the larger part was, okay? So that's gonna go about here. Okay, now let's do the same thing here. But see, here I wanna try and get, I don't know if you can see this picture, it's got the roller coaster like here, and then it says Crazy Mouse. I wanna try and get Crazy Mouse in there. We'll see if we can. If I cut it 4 inches, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of the roller coaster. I might cut this right after where it says mouse. Let's see. Might get more of the roller coaster that way. Okay. And I've got some backup pictures if I don't like this, but here's this. Now on this one, all we need to do is go from the top left down to, 3 inches up, or 1 inch down. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to mark it there, 1 inch down, and then I'm going to cut from here to there. And so all I'm doing is kind of lining this up and that corner up in the trough of my cutter here. And this just gives it a little bit, I don't know, of a different look. Okay, so now I'm going to put this one, start with the bottom piece. And then that one should fit right in there. I am leaving a little bit of white space, just a little bit, so that you can kind of see the difference of the pictures. So you know it's not one picture. Okay, so it should look something like that. Have you guys ever cut angled pictures like this? I can't remember doing anything like this, so that's why I think it's really fun. You are going to cover up a little bit of this paper here, but it makes this look like it's angled too. See, you see how it makes it look like it's angled? Add energy. I love that. It does add energy. And it actually adds energy to how I felt this day when we were at Brighton Pier. Okay, there we go. I'm not loving exactly how that is meeting up there. I was gonna cut it a little bit different angle. Let's see if I can get this up. Probably should just leave it go because it's ripping the page, but. Okay, I like how that is now. We can add a strip or something later if we want to. Okay, I did cut out Brighton already. I'm debating whether to cut out something that says pier. Okay. I was thinking about maybe cutting out pier in like a cursive font, small, and putting it there, but I'm not sure yet. So let's tape these down. Okay, let's see. I do have some seagull pictures on the next page. Do you guys think I should cut out here in cursive and put it down on there? I was thinking maybe in black. I cut these out with my Close to My Heart, I think it's called Sans Serif. Let's see. These ones. Oh, block. It's called Block Alphabet. I use these a lot. It's a nice size. I also have the Stampin' Up ones that are the tall, skinny ones. I thought about doing those. But I like the size of this one a little bit more. On this layout, I cut these on my Cricut. And I'm not sure, it might be just the Cricut Sans. Okay, so I will decorate this after I do the other layout, okay? That way we can get the layout done and then worry about the decorations. You think that would look good if it said Pier and cursive down there? Okay. I'll try it out. Okay, now this page. I had to find the other white. Here we go. Okay, now this page, we're using this piece that's 6.5 by 8. And then this one is 3.5 by 8. So it's, it's 5.5. This one's 5.5. 5.5, and then this one's 6.5. Okay. I think on the blog the pieces are numbered. Let me see. No, I didn't. I do have a picture that where they're numbered. I'll put that back on there. But you can kind of figure it out where they go. These will be one of my sketch challenges next month. So you've got a little bit of time to work on these. Okay, so let's start with this one. Let me see, let me find my pictures so I can see. So here's my seagulls. I still have to cut the mats and cut these. Okay, here's the ones that I have. This one might be okay for that top one. I was going to put this one, I think here, and then this one here. I could do this one with the Brain Palace Pier. I might. Well, I've got that here. I mean, what do you think? It's kind of. Let's see. Let's work with this one, and then if we don't like it, we'll go to our backup ones. Okay. So this needs to be 3 by 4. If we look at the sketch here, this first one is 3 by 4. So it needs to be 4 inches this way. Okay. And then 3 inches this way. Okay, now this one, basically I'm going to measure up 1 inch from the bottom, 1 inch from the bottom. I'm just going to use my Versamat. Okay, I don't see where that is. Okay, it's right at that seam there. Right there. Okay, now let's cut that. Nice. Okay. What did I say? I wanted to do the fortune teller. So this one should be 4 by 4. Okay. Let's cut this 4 inches. Okay, so this is 4 by 4. And now this one, I need to go down 1 inch and then up 1 inch from the bottom. So down 1 inch here, and then up 1 inch here. Okay, I can see that. I'm hoping it's not going to take that off too much. Okay, I think you can still see it says Ivor, Tarot Consultant. Okay, so this is 2 inches here, going to the 4 inches. It's down 1 inch and then up 1 inch. We'll have to see if I like that. We might have to go back to one of these. because I don't know. This is what I'm saying. You want to kind of think about your pictures a little bit. Okay, this one. I'm doing 4 by 4. And we're doing the same thing, but we have to diagonal it going towards the left. Let me know if you think I should add this picture, if I should switch out this picture for that one. What do you think? I'm not convinced. So 1 inch from the bottom and 1 inch down from the top. Always check to make sure you're cutting the right direction. Okay, there we go. This one, now this one I like. It's kind of centered nicely. Okay, now for this bottom one, actually I might just cut this one because I could put it there, but I want to put, I think I'm going to use this as a background for my chair, because see how I'm sitting in this, see how I'm sitting in that chair? So I'm going to use, instead of a picture, I'm going to use this as my 4 by 4. Otherwise, you can do the same thing with your picture. Now this one, we only need to measure down. See, this side is flat, so we just need to measure down 1 inch from the top on the right. Okay. And I am going to erase. You can see a little bit of my pencil mark. I'm going to erase that. Okay. So let's glue these down. I'm going to use my Tombow because I can adjust it a little bit better. And I'm starting with the bottom one. Okay. And then let's do this one. Let's see if we voted on this picture. This picture. Okay, nobody's commented. Should I keep the consultant or should I do this one? I just don't like how it's, I wish it was a little bit centered more, you know, so that, but it's just because that's how the picture was taken. It's not because of how I cut it, it's because that's how I framed the picture. Okay, let's try this one again and see if we like it better. The reason I wanted to use this one is because I thought it would give a nice contrast, because you see here, there's just a lot of blue. Okay, so let's try this. Okay. We need to go down 1 inch here, and then up 1 inch and down 1 inch. It's hard to see those marks. Okay. Okay, so we have one I like what you have and one I would use the other picture. These actually almost look like they're on different days, but they're not. Just one was facing to the left and one was facing to the right. But you see how this gets blurred on whether it's one or two pictures. I'm gonna leave maybe a little bit of space there. Left a little bit of white space in between. Okay. Now I do think I'm going to use this Cajun Craze, because I did brighten in the Cajun Craze, so I will do the mattes in Cajun Craze. Now remember, for the mattes, it is, that's fine, and this was all on my blog, remember. Okay, here we go. We need 3.5 by 6, we need 2 of those, and 3.5 by 4, 2 of those. So 3.5 by 6. And then 3.5 by 4. You could do these 3 by 3, the pictures 3 by 3, and then do 3.25 of these. But I was trying to get as much as you can by these pictures. So these are, let's see, these are 3 by 3.5. So I need to, let's see. I really don't want to cut his little feet off, but 3.5. There we go. And then this guy, three by 3.5. I've got so many pictures of seagulls, guys. I mean, I specifically bought this paper pack for this layout. Looks like they're looking at their friends flying away. And then I'm just going to kind of center these on here. Like I said, if you wanted to do these 4x4 and not mat them, you could do that. It would fit right across your pictures, or this space here. But if you did that, you want to make sure you have a nice contrast with the base paper. You wouldn't want it to get lost in the background. Okay. And then the pictures, what did I say the pictures are? 3 by 5.5. So I've got this one of me sitting in the chair. So let's take a 1/2 inch off of each side. And then 5.5. Okay. And then I had another one of me sitting down, but I thought I wanted to put this one on because it says from the Queen of Peers to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, congratulations on your Platinum Jubilee. So this was a special Platinum Jubilee, and so we were there during the Platinum Jubilee, so I wanted to include that. There we go. I thought it was important to keep that. On the paper to say we were there during this special time. Okay. And these are somewhat of a big border too of these pictures. So you could make them slightly bigger if you wanted. Okay, let's glue these down and then get decorating. there we go. Okay. Here's what we have so far. I think it's looking pretty good. What do you guys think? Okay. So let's do the next part. I'm going to just do this decoration, okay? So I do have the Relaxing Waterside stamp and die set, which I love. So here I stamped these. Let me see where the stamps are. I stamped 2 of these and 1 of these. And then I'll stamp these 2 seagulls, okay? And then, of course, the chair. Okay, had to get some white. I didn't think about getting the white to stamp on. Okay, let's stamp the chair first to make sure we have room for that. Definitely has room for that. Then we have these guys. Now what I did for this chair, I'll put it here so you can see it, is I stamped in Cajun Craze. Now I am going to watercolor this, and when you stamp with one of these inks, these are not water safe. I think that's the word. So it is going to maybe not smear a little, but I am going to watercolor it with it, okay? But that's the look I'm going for. Okay. Oh, and I didn't get my stamping cloth wet. It's okay. I'll clean them afterwards. And then let me do these in, the color from the kit is Old Olive. But I have Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to use those. Who's excited about the new ink pad design? I am going to talk about them one time. I'm planning on doing a little video. Gray Granite is the other color in this, the gray in this suite. So I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial video. but I'm excited. Most of the people from close to my heart know about this style of ink. I got some ink on here, but those new to this style might like to have a tutorial. Okay, let's do the little seagull. This is in gray granite. And then I'll do this guy. In gray granite also. I love the paper pumpkin kits because I've really built up my Stampin' Up ink colors just by having ink dots. Okay, now what I did on this one is I colored it in with colored pencils and then watercolored it, so they're watercolor pencils. Here's some. I was gonna do the lava brown. That's a little bit kind of red. I think I'm gonna do this one, earth brown, and then maybe add a little bit of the lava in. I thought this one was a little too red, but I did go back over it with some brown, so. Now when I watercolor, I don't try too hard because I smooth it all out with a watercolor pencil. The only thing I try to do is stay in the lines. And even that isn't imperative. Because watercolors do kind of, you know, ooze out a little. I asked this last week, how many of you have used your watercolor pencils recently? Stampin' Up! Does have a couple sets of watercolor pencils. I should have put it on the, I didn't add those to my resource page, but maybe I will. I didn't think about it when I did the page. Okay. You know, every week on my Stampin' Up, the Crafty Chemist.stampinup.net, I do have a resource page where I have all of my projects, and then there's links to all of the products that I used in them. And I try and make one for every single project. So if you ever go back and watch a video and you wonder what I used for that, go to my page and look for it. Okay, I'm going to add just the ever so slight amount of this red color. Just to give it a little bit of red. So it's more Cajun than brown. And then the last step is, well, first let me cut this because this is going to be wet. I'm going to cut this one last. All right, I'm going to put this in my die cut machine, so I want this to kind of be separate. So it doesn't, I don't put it through wet. Okay. Then I take our little water brush And I'm just going to smooth it all out. These have water in here. And it comes out, it's like a little paintbrush. And it just kind of smooths all that out. And I'm not even really squeezing this very much. Okay, now all I gotta do is the back. I think you're right, Julie. I kind of was holding off buying a lot of the ink pads until they came out with this new style. And I did get the new 2026, 2028 colors that came in the new style because I knew that they wouldn't go away in the refresh. If you don't know what we're talking about, in 2027, Stampin' Up! Is going to do a color refresh, and then all of the stamp pads will come in the new style. And some colors will go away and new colors will come on board besides the just the new, you know, 2020, what would it be, 2027, 2029 colors. Wow, we're really getting in the years, aren't we? Okay, now let's cut these out and then start decorating. I'm going to cut out the small bushy thing, seagrass, I don't know. There's some, I used these last times, the cattails. No, I didn't bring my washi tape over. Is this the right one? Okay. I feel like I might not have stamped that very well. Looks like it's missing a little piece. Maybe. There's one, there's one. Yeah, see, I didn't stamp that very well. Let's see if I can stamp that again. Otherwise, I'll just... Yeah, I can see on here, I didn't stamp that edge. Okay, that's better. I didn't notice that before. Okay, let's try it again. here and here. Okay, that's better. I can use this one, but if I'll just tuck it up under something, I think. Okay. Let's cut out the birds. This one I feel is hard. I wish I had made a mask or a template or whatever. Because it's pretty skinny. Not too bad, although I think I cut his face off a little bit. What do we think? Let's see if we can get this one a little bit better. I just stuck my finger in Mossy Meadow. Because I haven't cleaned these off yet. I have to remember what I did with these. Maybe I'll use that as a template. Well, I can't use it as a template if it's on the... Okay, that's pretty good. Snap that down in there. Let's hope this is a little bit better. If not, we'll just go with what we have. Okay, yeah, that's better. That's better. And now all we have to do is cut out the chair. And remember, there is this other type of chair you can cut out. I particularly like this one. Okay, let's decorate. Let's see, do I have any pecan pie? I think I do right here. I tore a piece so that it looked like sand for the bottom. Let's see if this is 4 inches though. I also could have put a piece of the wood down, like I'm sitting on the boardwalk. This is pecan pie, and I feel like it's almost this color, so I think it looks good. Now this is going to go here, and then we'll just layer these. Oh, Darcy's getting a little anxious. Okay. Let's adhere these down. I am going to pop up the chair. Okay. My mom's yelling at Darcy. Poor Darcy. He's just barking, wants his mommy. He's had a long day because we watched Monroe. We had him from yesterday afternoon until she just picked him up right before the live. Okay, let's pop him up. I know I got some, here you go, here you go. Some dimensionals. Just gotta put a little bit around here. A little piece in the middle. Okay. Let's pop this up. Got a lot to clean up over here on my page. My crafter math, although not as much as Ellie. You know how Ellie crafter maths. She takes after me, I guess. Okay. Now let's put this seagull. I'm gonna put him right there, right on the paper, because I figured I could not. He was too skinny to add a dimensional. And let's have him stand up right there. Now I'm not putting a dimensional on him because I'm putting him on top of this that's already popped up. There we go. What do you guys think? I don't know if you can tell in this picture I took, there is a seagull right here flying into the word, so I like that. Now on this side, I fussy cut out these, which is not that hard. Let's see. You can see how I cut these out. But for this one, since it's like a boardwalk, I wanted to try and put this on here like it's, so let's see. Also, this is something you have to be careful when you cut out, because I'm going to cut straight down here, but you can't cut straight here because you'll cut this off. So just when you're cutting this, make sure you're not cutting into another piece. What do you think, guys? I think I should mat that maybe? Let's see, this is 3 by 4. Let's see how it looks. I made that a quarter instead of a half on that side. Or do you think that takes away from the angledness of it? What if I angle it? No. I was thinking because I think we might have gotten ice cream while we were there. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I should do the other things or? While we're deciding, I'll just start that. What I was going to do is let the journey begin. You would mat it. Would you use that, or do you think it takes away from the angled? I'm afraid it takes away from the angled. Okay. Okay, this is from the Scenic Adventure. Which I also used on this one. Here I did just breathe and take it slow. That's here. Adventure. Now this one you have to kind of line up just right. Otherwise the D and the T can overlap Okay, now let's find a circle that fits that. Okay, that fits. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's cut a few of these out. I'll go fast for these. Let's see, I did 4 of these. 1, 2. This is why I did the Cajun Craze. 3. And I did an or. Okay, and then I also did a couple of these. Let's do this one. That's here on the edge. And then let's do this buoy. Okay. Let's do these quickly. Do you guys like to fussy cut out the paper? A lot of times our paper has dies that fit this, but these particular shapes don't. So you just gotta fussy cut them out a little bit. I like the life vests and things better with the canoe layout than the Brighton Pier. Although I think I might have gotten a picture of the, you know how on these piers they usually have a life preserver that you can throw out into the water if someone falls off. I think I took a picture of one of those. Well, I didn't see it. Because if I saw it when I was looking at my pictures, I would have definitely printed that one out, knowing that I had these. But there are a lot of these, so you can make a lot of cards, a lot of scrapbook layouts by cutting these out, or you can use it as background paper. I think you can do the same with the fish, the paper that has a fish on it. You can fussy cut around the fish. See, look how fast it was, and I'm almost done with all of them. I really like the idea of that ice cream shop, but I just don't like how it's straight across, and I don't know how to make it more angled. I think it takes away from the angled design. That's why I didn't want to use it. Okay, now I just have to do the or. Now here I did 2 oars, but I think we could be okay with one. There is another oar on there, but it's not a full oar, so I'd have to mask it underneath the circle or something. Okay, there we go. Let's put these down. Put this guy over here. The buoy right here. Whenever I say buoy, it reminds me of a Seinfeld episode. Do you guys remember that Seinfeld episode where Elaine says buoyed? It buoyed him up and the publisher said buoyed. Okay, I like that. So let's get these inked down, or adhered down, I guess. I know all of the Seinfeld quotes. To me, everything's almost a Seinfeld episode. Okay, now one side of these, yeah, that side I'm going to put in. Okay, I'm using the circle to help guide where I put these. So you can see everything still. I don't like the little tail thing there. I'm going to kind of cut that off. If you don't know it was there, you won't miss it. Okay. Oh, and then this guy. Okay. Now, the one thing I did for this is I wrapped the twine around it and put the charm. So the embellishment for this set are these charms. And these were so hot that they went out of stock right away, but they're back in stock now. So like I said, they're metal. I think they're true metal. And then I used, I just had this twine. I think it's from one of the paper pumpkins, I think. So let's cut off. That should be plenty. So what I did is I did thread it through, there's a hole here. So I thread it through the hole. And then I tied it so it stayed in place, kind of. Okay, and then I kind of wrapped it around here and did kind of a knot. I don't even know. I wouldn't say fancy knot, but just kind of a knot there. And you want to make sure that it's at a good, it's hard to hold it up and do it. Okay, like I don't want it to be too, like I think that's a little bit long, so let's shorten it up a little bit. There we go. So it has kind of a nice look there. And then I just cut it here and used some glue dots, which I have right here somewhere. Here they are. I'm using the mini glue dots by Stampin' Up. And the first glue dot I'm going to use, I'm going to kind of put it on this knot so it stays. I'm going to kind of put it right on the oar, and then you see how I just kind of did that down. And then I put a glue dot on the anchor so that it didn't like flop all around in your scrapbook. Okay, so let's adhere this down, and then I'll put the glue dot down. Okay, now let's put the glue dot. I'm going to put it right there and glue it down. Now all we need to do is pop this up, and then I think we're ready. But you know what? I think I can add that. I think I can add this little I think it'll make it look a little bit better. I'm going to put it right under the where the anchor is. Okay. Okay, let me lift this up a little bit. This isn't down yet, so as long as that kind of covers, I think we're okay. Okay, the last little bit, let's pop this up. But first I am going to, I think, ink the edges, which I did on the other one. See how I inked around it just to let it stand out a little bit. That one I did use a finger dauber, but I'm just I'm not going to get my finger daubers. I'm just going to rub the edge of this right around the edge. I know you can't see it that much, but it will make a difference when it's on there. Okay. Now, as soon as I find my here we go. This is what we have, so this is what we're going to use, guys. Is it going to be enough for me? I don't know. Oops. Okay. It's going to have to be enough. I mean, I have more, but not right here. Okay, let the adventure begin. What do we think about this layout? What do we think about the angled pictures? Now on this one, I think you can see the individual pictures better. I think on this one, they were a little bit too similar. It was, and this T-bar here, I think threw it for a loop there. So, and I also used the Cajun Craze mats instead of the blue mats. Well, and I used different paper, but yeah, Julie, I like this, to fussy cut this paper from Stampin' Up, it cuts like a dream, really, and I'm not a huge, you know, fussy cutting lover, but I think it's, this is fine. Okay, I was thinking about putting a seagull there, but we'll see. I might do something, but I got the anchor there, so it should be okay. I just thought this was kind of fun. I love this angled design, and it fits so many pictures, so I'm really happy with it. Okay, next week we are going to move into the Moonlit Flora suite and do this card using the Moonlit Flora Stampin' Bundle. These were out of stock, but it's in stock again. So that's why I'm going to do this. So we're going to do we're going to do this next week and then a scrapbook layout the following week. Okay? And don't forget, during the month of May, if you place a $75 order, I send you the supplies to make this card kit. And remember, this is one of the special ones where the Ferris wheel spins, and I send you the spinning mechanism. Julie, I sent you 2. So just FYI, those are not 2 parts. I sent you 2 spinny things. So I thought maybe Dee would want one, or you maybe want to try something on a different card. So I did send you 2 spinny things. Okay? Well, thanks for joining me tonight. And this Thursday is the paper pumpkin kit together for the May paper pumpkin. So Thursday we'll be doing the paper pumpkin, and then Sunday we'll be doing that fern card. Okay? Yeah, after I sent 2 of the spinny things, I thought, oh, you might think one piece was like front and one was the back or something, but no, I sent you 2 separate things. You just need 1 of the little pieces. So, okay, see you Thursday or next Sunday. Bye.